Still ahead, the winners at last night's World Dog Awards. It really is award season for everything.
But first, the man who trained the Queen's dogs is going to join us live. He has all a bunch of great tips for us for a well-behaved pet. We'll get to those. You're watching You and Me this morning on the U.
It's 7:38. Now, you know we love treating our dogs like royalty.
And no one knows more about that than the royal trainer himself. Our Ali Bakhter's live on the block this morning with the Queen of England's Corgi trainer. So good morning, Ali.
Good Friday morning, Jean and Melissa. Yes, he has trained the royal dogs. And as we celebrate National Dog Training Month, well, we had to talk to the best of the best. And we bring you animal specialist all the way from England, Dr. Roger Mugford. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, all the way from across the pond, as they say. Welcome to Chicago.
Well, London doesn't have nearly as many nice dogs as Chicago. You know, and
like Milton here.
Milton, who's a fantastic little Pom. And, you know, little dogs like Poms are so intelligent, so clever. The cleverest dog I ever met was a Pomeranian, so
really?
could do maths.
Well, we won't tell the Queen that, because you trained not Pomeranians, but you trained her Corgis. What was that like? Did you get to meet her? Oh. Was it in Buckingham Palace?
It was pretty well. Windsor Castle, which is the second home, if you like. And she's very hands-on. No, the dogs didn't need training, but they were scrapping with one another. They were fighting one another. So my job was to teach them to respect the Queen as the boss, as a super boss, and establish a sort of hierarchical order within the pack of dogs, which they were. But the Queen is very hands-on. She knows her dogs. She knows about dog psychology. She knows, of course, about horse psychology. Not so sure about people psychology, but never mind. We all have weaknesses.
So you were talking about they just treat their dogs and their racehorses like they're the boss, actually.
She loves them. She's very warm. Get her talking about her animals, and she's so warm and you know, not at all the shy person that she is at other times.
Now, it is National Dog Training Month, and you have to help us, Doctor. Help us with some tips here.
Well, the most important thing is, and we've got a little puppy here who's called Madison. Now, dog training should start early, almost as soon as, well, their eyes open when they're sort of 10 days, 3 weeks old. Start training really early. Start socializing them, taking them to puppy classes, take them down the dog park as soon as the vaccinations allow it. And thereon, just acknowledge good behavior. When the dog barks, and you don't want a dog to bark for life, if you like, then ignore it, walk away. Don't give him a payoff. Payoff should be limited to when the dog does the right thing. And we've got a little penalty here, because I don't like, there are too many people who punish their dogs everywhere. You should never use your hands, and don't even use your voice.
So you're saying never use your hands, never use your voice, but
never
we should...
A shock collar. Don't ever buy a shock collar. They're the worst thing you can do to a dog, you know. You imagine the puzzlement. But no, we've got a little device here, which I'm reluctant to try, but it makes a little hiss. It's called a pet corrector. It's a very modest hiss. The same hiss that you hear from a goose, an angry goose, or an angry snake. And dogs are very responsive to it, although I'm pleased to say that Milton isn't.
Milton, you're too good.
And this is there just in case for the dog that won't get off the sofa, has a little scrap in the house, barks incessantly, jumps up at visitors, you know. But mostly focus, and that's really the theme of my book over there, mostly focus upon rewarding good behavior, desirable behavior.
You've got a book here, lovely book, The Perfect Dog, Raise and Train Your Dog the Mugford Way. Help me get the perfect dog. So if you're saying if I read this, I'm good.
For sure you will. and really, dog training is not rocket science. It's very simple. It's about payoffs and penalties. You know, a little child touches a hot stove, won't touch the hot stove again. It's the same with dogs. If you get the timing right and you reward good behavior, you'll have a perfect dog.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Mugford. You leave our fair city back to jolly old England for tonight. So I'm going to get a few more tips, and we are going to be back next hour from Paw Naturals here in the West Loop with some more doggy fun. Thank you, Dr. Mugford. Jean and Melissa, back to you.
Yes, we loved him. Loved what he had to say.
That thing. The pet corrector thing that makes the noise. I've never seen that. I've never seen it in stores.
But I love his idea. It's about positive training. It's the same thing with your kids. If you try it positively first, there should be no reason to ever put your hand on a dog, a child, anything like that. Love that. And then the other thing was he looked a lot like Prince Charles.
And
he was a little
Philip.
And King Philip's.
Yeah. We decided he was a cousin.
He has to be a relative.
Yeah, has to be.
All right. Anyway, it's odd.